Alexander the Great, 356 BC to 323 BC, used to be possibly the best army commander of all time. During one decade, he conquered all of the recognized world, leaving one of the world's most significant empires. Alexander the Great. Alexander was once born in the northern Greek kingdom of Macedonia, in July 356 BC. His mother and father have been Philip II, king of Macedon, and his wife, Olympias. As a younger child, he was once tutored via the notable philosopher, Aristotle. Aristotle taught a range of topics such as philosophy, poetry and the beliefs of government. To some extent, these beliefs influenced Alexander when he was once later governing conquered. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it. He was once later governing conquered nations. Alexander had a love of track and books. When requested what his biggest possession was, Alexander answered Homer's Iliad. However, he additionally had a ruthless nature which he displayed on being crowned king. Alexander quickly moved to have all possible challengers killed, including his baby half-brother, so he should be the undisputed king. When a pal used to be located responsible of treason, he additionally performed his harmless father, who had been a loyal frequent to Alexander. On coming to the throne, Alexander united the warring factions in Greece. Earlier than main his navy into Persia. Although apparently outnumbered, Alexander led his military to a decisive victory. It was once stated that in the course of his reign, Alexander remained undefeated. After beating the Persians, Alexander led his devoted military similarly east till they got here to the areas of Afghanistan and India. Again Alexander proved militarily profitable and went on to set up cities in many specific countries. Although Alexander was once ruthless in putting off opponents to the throne, his therapy of occupied territories used to be remarkably modern and tolerant. Alexander forbid his troops from raping and pillaging, but hooked up new democratic governments, incorporating the nearby customs of the area. He allowed non-secular tolerance for the distinctive non-secular groups. Alexander used to be famed for being an inspirational navy leader, addressing his troops prior to the Battle of Issus, as quoted in Anabasis Alexandri with the aid of Arian Book 2:7, "Our enemies are Medes and Persians, guys, who for centuries have lived smooth and luxurious lives. We of Macedon for generations previous have been skilled in the tough faculty of threat and war. Above all, we are free men, and they are slaves. There are Greek troops, to be sure, in Persian provider, however how distinctive is their reason from ours. Ellipsis. And what, finally, of the two guys in supreme command? You have Alexander, they, Darius. Many memories inform of the loyalty and belief his navy had in Alexander. Once they have been returning throughout a barren region with infrequently any water left. It is stated that Alexander's will alone stored his troops centered on making the return journey. At one point, his navy gathered a small pitcher of water from the final elements and presented it to Alexander. Alexander stated nothing and disdainfully threw the treasured water into the sand. It used to be incidents like this which created a godlike photograph round Alexander. There is nothing not possible to him who will try. Alexander the Great, on taking cost of an assault on a fortress, Alexander himself stated it was once solely sleep and intercourse which reminded him he used to be immortal. Alexander loved a passionate existence of drinking, womanizing and reveling. However, he additionally admonished his pals who sank to a great deal into sloth and luxury. He retained an hobby in philosophy for the duration of his life. expressing admiration for philosophers, such as Diogenes of Sinope, even if he didn't comply with their lifestyle. Plutarch records Alexander saying, "If it have been now not my cause to mix barbarian matters with matters Hellenic, to traverse and civilize each continent, to search out the uttermost components of land and sea, to push the bounds of Macedonia to the farthest ocean, and to disseminate and bathe the advantages of the Hellenic justice and peace over each nation, I have to no longer be content material to take a seat quietly in the luxurious of idle power, however I have to emulate the frugality of Diogenes." On the fortune of Alexander with the aid of Plutarch, 332 AB. For a man apparently invincible on the battlefield, he sarcastically died at the early age of 32. Alexander's dying got here after struggling from an excessive fever, which lasted for 10 days. The reason of this fever is an awful lot disputed, with some historians attributing it to poison, malaria, typhoid fever or different maladies. However, this 10-day fever is properly documented, and it is mentioned that hundreds of participants from his military exceeded by way of Alexander, whilst he lay in bed. Legacy of Alexander the Great. Alexander's legacy was once the spreading of Greek, Hellenistic, way of life across a massive section of the Middle East and Asia. Alexander considerably elevated the contact between the East and West, main to higher alternate and sharing of ideas. 20 cities bore Alexander's name, with some cities surviving into the contemporary age. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it.